Om Sadashivasamarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Nidhaya Hridi Vishesham Vidhaya Guru Vandanam Balanam Sukhabodhaya Kriyate Tarka samgraha. Okay. So we saw, okay, any questions before I go ahead? Any questions, clarification, shoot.
Karanam can I understand it as
Huh?
Karanam.
Hmm?
There may be many causes, but the one which is unique.
Yeah, is Karanam. Yeah, the unique cause is called Karanam. There can be many causes, but what is unique to it? Yeah. Correct? Okay. What is yours? One second. 17. Yes?
Immediate cause. In this, the mental two questions, mental impressions will include all the samskaras, the past life samskaras.
Anything.
And when it says born of mental impressions alone, it is only to avoid the over applicability of pratyabhijna.
Yes.
But it will include that, nevertheless.
Yeah. Because when you are saying what is Smriti, you have to be specific. Because cognition also involves some memory, no? What is this? Cell phone? You remember what a cell phone is, no? If you don't remember what a cell phone is, how are you going to identify this? But this is cognition, not memory. Now if I are going to ask you to remember, you remember the old first phone that came, Nokia phone? You remember that? Chunky. Now look at that. That is purely memory. So how will you define memory to prevent its over application into cognition? Nokia phone and this phone. How will you prevent the definition of memory from including this? By saying that cognition which is born only by samskaras is memory. So you remember something only by samskaras. Yeah? Yeah, time element, past. Memory is always of past. No? Yeah, cognition can be immediate, yes. Are you getting that? So you have to make the difference between memory and cognition.
When I'm studying Vedanta, when I'm actually understanding what I am, it's purely cognitive. Then there is no smriti because this is only for vyavhara.
Self-knowledge is always cognitive.
Purely cognitive.
No memory involved. Study of Taittiriya Upanishad.
I've studied it. I know I have studied it.
So memory is also involved. Because all the verses, etc., memory is involved. But Satyam Jnanam Anantam Brahman. Cognition all the way through. All the way through. If the cognition is there. Sometimes you can study without the cognition happening also, no? Yeah, you can hear something but still not cognize it. Yeah, that is different, yeah. Okay, then, any other question? Shoot.
Yes, I wanted to ask about the brahmanas, the four brahmanas which is recognized over here. So here Anupalabdhi is not, then
No.
how do they explain Prag, Bhava, when
Anupalabdhi, okay. They explain Anupalabdhi by saying that the same sense organ that cognizes the presence of an object will cognize the absence of the object as well. That's their theory. The Vaisheshika theory, Nyaya Vaisheshika theory is that if you are seeing the presence of something, the same sense organ will tell you the absence of it also. Because they don't take light into account. No? Because light was not taken into account, they followed this part of it. Just because there is this, okay, where does all this only 4, not 6, etc. come in? Because there is a tendency to keep it brief. The briefer you are, the better it is. This was old thinking, okay? When you study traditional thing, you will get into that also. Like if you notice many things, I am brief. Very brief in what I say. Then I'll start elaborating it afterwards. But the brevity, because of that, why? Anupalabdha. Put it in perception only, na? Problem solved. You know? So for the need for brevity, it came up. Similarly, deductive logic, it's all inference only, na? Why are you making separate deductive logic? Put it the same logic. Inductive, deductive, everything comes into the same logic. Logic mein dal do. Ho gaya kaam. Problem solved. That's only 4.
And Shabda, so Shabda is Vedas according to them? When
They accept Veda, but they will go slightly differently also. That we'll see when we are dealing with epistemology. We'll see it in detail. They accept Veda to a point, up to a point.
Because if they accept Vedas, then they can't be saying that the material cause
Yeah.
and intelligent cause is different.
So they don't accept it completely. Plus they misunderstand it. Even Mimamsakas accept Veda, no? But they don't have the understanding of Atma because they're karmatas. They get stuck with the karmas. They accept the Veda. The pramanim of the Veda is accepted. Not fully. Vedantins accept it fully because we accept the validity of karma for what the karma is meant for, not for moksha. You want to go to heaven? Okay, fine. We accept the validity. करो जाके देखो चाहिए तो I am not interested. Yeah, it is not within my priority. That's all. There's a big difference between saying it is not my priority and saying I don't accept it. I don't accept means you're choosing pramana in half. Saying it is not my priority because no one can do everything anyway, so it's okay. That's acceptable. It's not picking and choosing. The validity of the whole pramana is there, out of which this is meant for me, I am choosing that. A big difference. Keep this difference in mind. Yeah?
This cognition, as you say, is self-knowledge is cognition.
Self?
Self-knowledge.
Also is cognition. Yes, yeah.
But once it happens,
Yeah.
what is it there? Is it memory or?
No, because you are cognizing it all the time. Because all the time, self is evident in your mind. No?
Yeah.
So it's no, so it's the process may be remembered.
So does it form
It never becomes memory. It's always there. See, the problem is it looks as though it is memory because our old habitual thinking comes up and hides this knowledge. Seems to hide this knowledge.
If you own it up, then
It's always cognitive. Yeah. We'll see this Vedanta Paribhasha makes it very clear how it is. What is perception? Yeah,
Swamiji, can I ask a question?
shoot.
Yeah, then you are saying the cognition of the self it's a cognition, not memory, right?
Which one?
This recognition myself as the Atma.
Yeah, yeah.
That is, it is a cognition. It is not a memory. Yeah. Then in the Gita, that in the last chapter, verse number 73, the Arjun says, no, nashto moha smriti labda. Then what does he mean by
The
that?
smriti is about other things that he studied, not of self-knowledge. No.
Okay.
Yeah. Nashto moha there is fine. Smriti is about other things, dharma, all that thing.
Okay. That
Yeah,
I
not about
found that and understood.
not about atma jnanam.
Okay.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Not,
So in Nididhyasana, it's again purely cognitive because in Nididhyasana,
it's also cognitive, exactly. Nididhyasana is, though it looks as though you are doing it, but it's a cognitive process, no? You are repeating what you know. So again and again you are looking at it. देखा और एक टाइम देखो तेल डाल के देखो you get the idea? That's what Nididhyasana is. बराबर आंख खोल के देखो और एक टाइम That's exactly what Nididhyasana is. Because that's what makes it your own. Why is it necessary? Because old habitual meat and potatoes thinking come up. Habitual thinking comes up. Yeah. Otherwise, always there. Background, it's always there. Not foreground. Foreground, other things come into the picture. That's okay. Okay. Okay, if that is clear, let's go ahead. So we saw Astadharanam Karanam Karanam, that we saw. Then Karya Niyata Purva Vrittitvam Karanam. That also we saw, right? Karya Niyata Purva Vrittitvam. Karanam is something that exists before the effect, and it has to be indispensable to the effect. Anything can exist before. My grandmother existed before I became a Vedanta teacher. But she was not Karanam for me becoming a Vedanta teacher. Yeah. Remember that story is Muhammad Ali's father claiming that he is responsible for his son's success. Why? I fed him well when he was young, you know. Then he will say final karanam has to be Ishvara only, nothing else. Okay. Yeah. All right. Karan niyata purvavartam karanam. Okay. Then he says, okay, then what is effect? If that is cause, what is effect? Effect will be Karya Prag Bhava Pratiyogi. Prag Abhava Pratiyogi. What is an effect? Okay. Effect is that which is a counter positive of its own prior non-existence. This is typical Tarka way of putting it. Before this book came into existence, it was not there. Therefore, this book had prag abhava, prior non-existence. Before this book was bound and made like this, it did not exist. Correct? That means the book has prag abhavatvam. There was a time when the book didn't exist, another way of saying it. Prag abhava is prior non-existence. Therefore, effect is the counter paucity of its own non-existence. Yeah, ऐसा क्यों से? Yes. No, why are you putting it like this ulta? I'll tell you why you are putting it. That means to prove anything is an effect, you must know praga bhava. Praga bhava, the abhava of abhava. Abhava of praga bhava. Therefore, that is present existence. Why are you putting it like that? Because the only way you can say something is an effect is it has come into existence now, not before. That means what? Before there was praga bhava. We use this argument to dismiss the logical Ishvara. How do you say Ishvara created the world? Of course, Ishvara created the world. Have you seen the prag abhava of the world? No. Then how can you say world is effect? How do you prove world is effect? You can't prove world is effect. Because prag abhava you have not seen. Okay, if you are not seen of this universe, some universe you must see. No? How many universes have you seen anyway? So logically you cannot prove. This is an effect you cannot prove. Whether it is science or philosophy or any of the schools of thought, World is an effect, is an assumption. And you know what happens when you assume things, no? Yeah, it's an assumption. There must be a cause. What do you mean there must be a cause? Pragabhava, if we can prove, then it is. Very specific, very clear cut. Yeah. Therefore, it's important to put it the effect in this way. Yes, they put it in this way after a lot of thought. Pragabhava pratiyogitvam karyam.
In spite of that, they prove the word.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's why those are the lacuna in their argument that we exploit. Yeah.
So I can apply.
See, because Nyaya proves Ishvara logically, not through pramana of Shabda. They use the pramana of Anumanam to prove Ishvara. So there we dismiss that. So there we use the Nyaya arguments to understand. But we can't use the Nyaya arguments to prove. There's a big difference between a proving argument, a supporting argument, and an understanding argument. Okay. Can be a supporting argument, not a proving argument. So how do Vedantins say the world is created? Because the Veda says so, that's it, nothing else. There is no other pramana. Because the effect cannot prove its own non-existence. That's the kid, like the kid saying, I was not invited for my father's wedding. Nowadays it can be, it's a second marriage, okay.
So that way it can be limited only to objects then.
Yeah, exactly. So therefore now look at it. You look at the world. Does anything have prag-abhava? Is there anything that you see around, does it have prag-abhava pratiyogitvam? Has effect. Has effect. Laptop has effect. Exactly. But for them, remember one thing, cause and effect are very distinct, unlike Vedanta. Unlike Vedanta, you take cause and effect as independently existing things, which is what Vedanta dismisses. Yeah, you have to be clear about that difference, otherwise it can be confusing. Okay. Clear up to now, Karyam? Of course you can do. Before what, does she have a horoscope? Does she have a birth certificate? Therefore, prag-abhava. Huh? Anything it can be. Unless you are going to use a pramana to prove the pravaha nityatvam of the jiva. The jiva existed before. Now that you can prove only through Shabda Pramana. You can't prove it through science. Because science doesn't talk about existence of a jiva or a soul. It doesn't accept. It's materialistic. Remember, science is purely materialistic. Therefore, it doesn't accept it. Then the question will be, do you really have prag-abhava, pradvamsa-bhava, etc.? Therefore, na jayate, mriyate, va, all that will come in from the Gita. You are not born, you are not dying. The whole thing has to come in from there. Otherwise, you have prag-abhava. That's why he dismisses that in the Gita by saying, natvam jatu nasam. There was never a time when these kings were not there. There was never a time you and I were not there. All that is a dismissal of these. The finitude. Finitude means what? Prag-abhava, pradvamsa-bhava. So now you see how your Vedanta understanding is getting refined. I didn't have prag-abhava, I don't have pradvamsa-bhava, therefore nitya. Barabar hai.
So how do we explain pralaya? Because then the dravyas are not there.
Therefore, there is no real absolute pralaya because paramanus are always there. Nitya. Therefore, they don't accept complete pralaya, they don't accept. Like science, they accept after the big collapse, they'll talk about a super dense matter that exists. No? They say fourth state of matter, plasma, etc., etc., etc. Whatever. Yeah. I know, from the Vedantic mind, difficult to conceive that. But it's only a concept, so don't try to make it real. It's only a concept. Paramanus always exist. See, for this, to get nyaya in your understanding, you will little bit put Atma, Satyam, Brahman, etc. out. Only then this will work. For the time being, you have to keep that aside.
Swamiji, rest of the week we are trying to hold it up.
Because if you now look at Vedanta after studying Tarka, your understanding will be refined. Much more refined. Yeah. That's why this is not taught to the full-timers immediately. In the 3-year course, this is not taught. All this we pick up afterwards to refine our understanding. So this class, the Bandra class, because I have gone through the Gita, the Upanishad, the Brahma Sutras, did a revision of Vedanta Sara again, I said, okay, now probably at least some in the class will be ready for the next step. But being a separate school of thought, it can be studied independently in the beginning also. It's a school of thought. If you can study science, you can study this as well. Not a problem.
There this book was written. Why did they not start with Nitya Parmanu? I mean, they started Dravya, right?
Yeah. Then when the Dravya, he said, what is Nityam Anityam? Because remember, you're starting with what you're seeing. From what you're seeing, you're drawing a logic behind it, a theory behind it. Whereas Vedanta, you're declaring what is there and then explaining the world. The approach is completely different, opposite approaches. And your mind should be large enough to accommodate all these experts. You're talking about, people talk about secular inclusiveness, etc. Now you will understand how inclusive we are. You want inclusiveness? मेरे से पूछो, मैं दिखाता कितना inclusive है. Then if I put Sankhya into the mixture, और मजा आएगा. If I put Buddhism into the mixture, everything comes from abhava. Yeah, everything comes from abhava, not from bhava. I'll give you enough arguments for it also. Mind expansion, here it is. Include everything into it. And then shift out. Nityam, Anityam. Yeah, what is Nitya, what is Anitya? All these are thoughts, mental constructs, schools of thought. What is your pramana telling you? What is it that you're owning up, validating and owning up in your life? So this is what we'll talk in terms of scientific temper, etc. To have an inquiring mind. That's all that's necessary from that. Okay?
Swamiji, they talk of Paramanu as Nityam. But all Paramanus are different.
Yeah, that's why Vaisheshika, each has different qualities, Visheshas. Everything is Nityam. That's why it's essentially dualistic school. It's essentially a dualistic school. Whereas Advaita is different, it's non-dualistic. Please don't mistake Advaita for monotheism, okay? Monotheism is one God, one deity to be worshipped, nothing else. No, that way we are not monotheistic. We worship anything and everything. Why? Because for us there is only God. It is Advaita, not monotheism. Advaita and monotheism are two different things. Monotheism is all the Western religions that have come into India, Occidental religions. That is monotheistic. You shall keep no God above me. Whether it is Jews talking, whether it is Christians talking, whether it is Islam talking. This is it. Whereas Advaita is not that. Yeah. Advaita is, everything is one. You are seeing facets. Ekam Sat Buddha Bahuda Vadanti. One reality. The wise speak of it differently. Knowing the one reality. If you don't know the one reality, you can't apply this verse. You don't know the one reality, then how are you saying we are speaking differently in the name of inclusiveness? That's stupidity. Yeah, that is secular stupidity. Yeah, I'm constrained to say this in a class. Yeah. Okay. Therefore, you know what is an effect now. Okay. Karanam Trividam. Now, cause is also threefold. Okay. Samavayi Karanam, Asamavayi Karanam, Nimitta Karana Vedat. Samavayi Karanam, what is inherent? Asamavayi Karanam, non-inherent. Nimittam, because of a reason. That threefold Karanam. ये क्या है? We have only heard of Nimitta Karanam and Upadana Karanam. Correct? In Vedanta, there is only Nimittam and Upadanam. But that's why the difference in different systems. Okay. What is Samavayi Karanam? Okay. Yat Samavetam Karyam Utpadyate Tat Samavayi Karanam. Okay. When an effect is produced, whatever is inherent in the cause is responsible for that. That is called Samavayi Karanam. Yatha Tantavaha Patasya Swagata Rupadehe. Now, there are certain colors inherent in the yarn. When you make the cloth, there is a yarn. No? The warp and the weft, the yarn is there. So, whatever color is inherent in the yarn will be inherent in the cloth. This is called Samavayi Karanam. Whatever is inherent there, inheres in the effect. Whatever is inherent there, inheres in the effect. Because everything may not be inherent. Everything may not be inherent. Whatever inherent in the cause is inherent in the effect is called Samavayi Karanam. Huh? Jelly will be sweet. So the sweetness inherent. Samavayi Karanam. What about the consistency? Asamavayi Karanam. Can you see? Yeah. So look at it. What is Asamavayi Karanam? Okay. Karya Karanena va ekasmin arthe samavetatve sati yat karanam tat Asamavayi Karanam. Non-inherent cause. Okay. Look at the definition. Translation is not bad. Is one in which inseparably united in the same object, either with the effect or with the cause. Example will make it clear. Now, the color of the cloth is Samavayi Karanam, correct? But the cloth came together, na? They are adhering together. So the principle of adherence of the yarn in the cloth is called Asamavayi Karanam. The yarn adhering together form the cloth. But is adherence inherent? No, but it's connected with the cloth. It's not inherent. Does the yarn have a natural property of it coming together? No, it had to be done. No? So that is called Asamvayi Karanam. But that is necessary. The addition of the yarn is necessary for the cloth to be made. Therefore, it's Karanam. Why? Niyata Purva Vrittitvam. Connect up. Niyata Purva Vrittitvam is there. It's responsible for the effect. It has to be there for the effect. But it is not inherent. Look at the difference between the yarn adhering together and the color in the cloth, in the yarn. Color is inherent. Don't say I dyed the cloth after I made the cloth. That's evident. Why it keeps fading away? in patches. We all sadhus know this well, because previously we couldn't get the color. Even now we get different colors. So you will take the cloth and dye it, and after some time it will all become patchy. Then you have to re-dye it. Yeah.
The samgraha is basically the guna,
Huh?
quality which is
Quality or otherwise, whatever is inherent. Quality, what is inherent? But which is inherent. What we call in Vedanta is intrinsic and extrinsic.
but there is a potential over there. That
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah? Yeah, yeah. Same thing. But not necessarily the same. Is that thing inherent in it? If it is inherent, it is samavayi. If it is not inherent, brought out because of an arrangement, etc., asamavayi. Like this book coming to asamavayi karanam of the paper. Yeah. Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Then tad ubhaya bhinnam karanam nimitta karanam. They are very good in definitions. They will take the easy way out, therefore they can't be caught on it. You know? Whatever karanam is other than these two is called nimitta karanam. But how did the yarn come together? What was responsible? Those things are nimitta karanam. The weaving, the weaver, everyone comes into the picture. The instrument and the person, all there is nimitta karanam. Because the instrument is also there, no? Can you say instrument should not be there? How do you weave the cloth? Minimum, what? That old-fashioned warp and woof, no? Warp and the weft. Puja Swamiji always used to call it the woof. Why? It makes that sound, no? Woof. So the warp and the weft of the thing, yeah. That is nimitta karanam. The weaver, nimitta karanam, because he caused it, no? Uska bina thodi chalega. Whereas in Vedanta, nimitta karanam is always the intelligent being. So there is a slight difference in the way it is presented here. Okay. And in Vedanta we say all instruments are included into the nimitta karanam. In that way we are common. Nimitta karanam is predominantly the intelligent being. Any instrument he uses is an extension of the instrument. Extension of the person. Because it is true, no? The weaving, sticking to the same example. The machine is only an extension to put his skill into action. Yeah. Because you can weave without a machine. Can you not? Haven't you seen all old ladies sitting and knitting away? Huh? Yeah. Needle is there, so that becomes, yeah. You can do it with your hand also, if you have the patience for it. Yeah. No, you take two strings and you knit it together to form one long thing. Then you take the third string and you put it to the thing. And then you can. Both sides you can go. Yeah, endlessly you can go. Therefore, the knitting needle is an extension to make it easier. The machine is an extension to make it easier. Yeah. AI, artificial intelligence, does the whole job. Extension of nimitta karanam. Because I have to be there now, put my knowledge into it and say, hey, aisa karo karo. Yeah.
Machines only, what do you call it, increase the tempo.
Exactly. Makes it easier for me, that's all. Tad ubhaya bhinnangan nimitta karanam. Yeah. Yatha turi iva amedakam patasya. Like how the loom is responsible for the cloth. The loom, the weaver, both are involved in it. Both will be part of the game. Okay? So now you have samavayi karanam, asamavayi karanam and nimitta karanam. Vedanta simplifies it by saying upadanam and nimittam. Easier way of looking at it. Why? Because in Vedanta we don't have karya karana bhinnatvam. Between karyam and karanam there is an abheda. The effect is nothing but the upadana karanam in a different form. The cloth is nothing but the yarn in a different form. Exactly. Because you can't have the yarn and the cloth separate, can you? There was yarn, now you have only cloth. Kapda chahiye, nahi lau. Yarn nahi hai. Yeah, there is no difference. There is a difference. The material cause in a different form is called effect. No? Now here they are trying to split it further and say samavayi, asamavayi. In there some things are inherent, some things are not inherent. Which is fine if you are, like science also does it. Which is fine if you are trying to look at the details of the creation. In Vedanta, when you talk about cause effect, we are talking about cause effect to ultimately dismiss it. We accept cause effect, but then we dismiss cause effect and say what is there is nothing but karanam. There is no karya karana bheda. So ekameva adutiyam brahman. So the focus is there. Because the focus is there, we are not going to go into all this small details. Not necessary for us. But if Tarka is going for it, it's fine for us. We accept it. ठीक है, समवायी कारणम असमवायी कारणम, fine. But for us, samavayi, asamvayi both comes under upadanam. Can you see? Samavayi, asamvayi both will come under upadana karanam. Abhi inherent hai, non-inherent hai, whatever you want to say, you talk about. Yeah. It's a way of how you are explaining something, how you are conceived of it. Science will explain it differently. Yeah. Someone else can explain it differently. You can bring your own way of explaining something. Like one human body is looked upon in modern medicine as one thing, in homeopathy as something else, in Ayurveda as something else, in Tibetan medicine as something else, similar to Ayurveda but slightly different. So, one body. According to what you conceived, you can look at it and respond to all of them. That shows only mithyatvam of the world. That is only showing mithyatvam of the world. So don't get too fanatical about one system over another system. As far as Vyavahara is concerned, each has his own place. I don't believe in modern medicine. I want to go back to traditional Ayurveda. You know, I believe in the Dr. Hegde, you know, H.M. Hegde. So after a lifetime career in allopathy, now he is speaking against it. Pehla kyun na bola wo sab? But he also admits, emergency situations better follow allopathic medicine. He is dead against bypasses and things like that. That's okay. There is some truth in it. But this guy has got 4 blocks and he is having a heart attack. No, body will produce its own bypasses. Correct? A body will produce. We have seen this. But in this character it has not produced. That's why he has had a heart attack. What do you do with that guy? Afterwards you can treat, and afterwards without bypass you can reverse it. That's fine. But right now treatment is necessary or not? Afterwards you can do. We have one example right here. Satish Bhai had a massive heart attack. And he reversed it after, of course he was in the hospital for 2 weeks, this, that, etc. But completely reversed without any bypass, anything. It's a living example. When was the heart attack? 4. 18 years ago. And he's having a very healthy, active life after that. So that is fine. But some things are there, you can't avoid it, you can't avoid it. Or kya karega? So Vyavahara is like that. Okay. Things all work. Do what works. My simple philosophy of life. Do what works. Yeah. For you, what works, do that. If you are capable of that, do that. I can't do that, then do this. What is it? Do it. Don't get stuck. So, all this different school study is meant for that, okay? So, your mind can hold all the mithya ideas. Why? Because you are focused on the satyam, so the mithya doesn't trouble you. Okay. Then, special cause. Asadharanam karanam. Tad etad trivida karana madhye yes athadharanam karanam tadeva karanam. Whatever in a given case is a special cause is called asadharanam karanam. Sometimes it may be samavai, sometimes it may be asamavai, sometimes it may be nimittam. Whatever is unique, completely, totally indispensable. Yeah, that is called asadharanam karanam. That's it. Yeah. Huh? Yeah, same. Yeah. So asadharana karanam in their idea is what is the most essential thing. In some things it will work, in some things it will not work. You have a baby. What is asadharanam karanam? Both are equally important. No? Mother and father both are equally important. But the thing tends towards the mother, okay? Even in jurisprudence, right? Even in law, does it not tend to the mother? In ancient Indian jurisprudence, yes. The mother is the kshetra. The father is only the seed. So it tends towards the mother. Okay. Yeah. Tends towards. Yeah. So that's how you look at it. But in certain things you can say, what is asadharana karanam? You have rice, vegetables, etc. You want to make khichdi. Pakasya vannivat jnanam. You need, without fire, nothing, no khichdi will come out. You can have, see, vegetables are replaceable, rice is replaceable. Rice is replaceable for khichdi, of course. My parents used to go and stay with my sister when the kids were born, the second one was. So sometimes once he came, because he had some bank work and all, he came to Chambur, Prabhadevi Chambur, close by. I said, Dad, I'm making khichdi, can I make for you? What are you going to do for lunch? He said, I thought I'll have a vada or something here. I said, you can, but if you want, I'll making khichdi. But with rice? I said, no, I'll make it with lapsi for you. Okay, I'll try it out. So rice is replaceable, and he enjoyed it. I can't cook for nuts, but I'm khichdi specialist. Okay. So what I'm trying to say is, everything is replaceable. Dal is also replaceable. You can make any other source of protein you can put in. It can be mung dal, it can be tur dal, it can be masoor dal. Masoor dal, try it, make try kiya hai. Can be rajma also instead. Rajma for khichdi. You don't know. Come to the khichdi expert. So all this is replaceable. Fire is irreplaceable. Heat? No way. Because cooking, you can't replace that. Asadharanam karanam. For moksha. Asadharanam karanam. Jnanam. Other karanams? Mind. All that thing comes into it. Asadharanam karanam is this. Other karanams will be karma yoga lifestyle, sannyasa lifestyle, all that to get your mind ready. So in some place it will work, some place it will not work. Okay. Nimittam upadanam will be there in all cases. That will work right through. The more specific it is, the less it will be universal. The more non-specific it is, the more universal it will be. Remember this. The general principles cutting across all branches of learning. So with that,
Swamiji, so far as moksha is concerned, asadharanam karanam can be more than one.
of course, sadharanam karanam is more than one. Asadharanam karanam is only jnanam. Sadharanam karanam, you get your mind ready. You have to go and stay somewhere to learn. You have to go where the guru is. You have to get the book in hand. All that is sadharana karanam. Asadharanam is jnanam. The guru can be talking about a lot of things. But those things are not jnanam. Only the teaching is jnanam. He is sitting and cracking jokes with you afterwards. That is not jnanam. Guru Vakya, but that's just a joke. And if it is happening during the teaching, it will become under Arthavada. Those jokes, etc. I meant to highlight something. Like what I am doing right now. So is that complete? Okay. Today, as I said, I have to. The choice was between not having the class, having it online, or having it, cutting it short by 10 minutes. Okay. So this is a good place to stop because we ended this chapter also. And next class we are going into. Huh? Yeah? Yeah, but he had something to say, I am asking him. Yeah, so they are taken as one. So they will be taking it as one. Yeah. That's why they will say, Shastra Rupena Guru Mukhat. Yeah. Shastra Rupena Guru Mukhat. Now next class we will go into something which is proper Nyaya, the epistemology, etc.
So much timing?
Same. For the time, you want to make it 11:15? How? Huh? How are you all for 11:15 for the? Okay. Next class, this class, the second class will be at 11:15, not 11:30. Okay. Yeah. Just because we are finding that half an hour gap too much, you know. Yeah. Okay. Om Tat Sat. Take care.